My role as Director of Content at Fast Track is probably the most amazing in the business. I get to work with some incredible account teams and some amazing brands that are involved in sport through sports sponsorship. And we get to bring those sponsorships to life through video, through PR, through digital media. It is an incredible place to be and an incredibly vibrant environment right now. You could say this is the dream role. It really is. I think it's absolutely right to say that the agencies are investing heavily in their capabilities to produce and deliver content, and I think this is much to do with the fact that now PR has got a really strong chance to engage directly with consumers. No longer do we need to completely rely on third-party media owners in order to reach consumers. So effectively it makes brands media owners themselves. And I think the blend of specialisms of having people who are used to producing content and are used to communicating with consumers in this way, merging their skills and abilities with traditional PR specialists, I think that gives agencies a really strong proposition, a really strong capability in order to produce content and in order to engage with consumers in the way that they are absorbing and consuming content. I think that's really important that we recognise that. Defining content PR, I think, isn't that straightforward. I think what it's about is building deeper connections with consumers. I think that's the key, really, for content, is to be able to produce materials and communicate with consumers on behalf of brands through the rich range of touch points that exist. On any given day, you listen to the radio, you might read a newspaper, you check tweets, you're on Facebook, you're going to be actively searching, you're also going to be served adverts. So our own media diet as consumers is very rich. So when we talk about content PR, we need to be able to communicate with consumers through all of those different touch points and make our brand stand out. And I think that's how and why that content is such a strong element of a PR offering today. There are some great examples of content-driven campaigns out there. I mean, one I could pick out is actually being activated by my colleagues here, by the team that are working on the HSBC sponsorship of the British and Irish Lions. They've produced an incredible range of material to really bring that sponsorship to life. It starts with the advert, the TV advert, which everyone has seen. A really nice creative there, featuring some of the brand ambassadors for HSBC. But the way that's been brought to life also through video, through original content creation of behind the scenes shooting from the video, from the advert itself, through to match reviews and previews out there in Australia with the ambassadors and engaging with fans, bringing different opinions to the fore to help engage better with fans, right the way through to some really memorable photo stunt moments, which have also been amplified through social media, through bringing to life the ambassadors and their stories and getting them to write those up in print media. We're using every tactic for content. Content isn't just video. Content is about bringing to life a sponsorship, bringing to life a brand, and helping engage with consumers. I think PR has constantly evolved. There was a time a little while ago where we would talk about the internet as being new media. Nobody does that anymore, luckily, and if they do, they're looked at very strangely. So I think what we see now is PR evolving to recognise that content has got to be essential to our offering. Our ability to tell a story on behalf of a brand and to engage with consumers is paramount. We need to do that really effectively to capture and keep that imagination and attention of our consumers when there is so much competition for their attention. So that's key for me. I think PR has got an incredible opportunity to really seize the space of content creation. Whereas advertising and marketing agencies quite often are coming from a different end of the spectrum with regards to budgets and with regards to creativity and how they tell their brand story and how they engage with consumers. We're coming from different ends of that spectrum. And I think we probably won't meet in the middle. What we need to do is each try to work together to try and better bring out our relevant skill sets for engagement with consumers. For example, at Fast Track, we're working very, very closely right now with VCCP, a sister agency, a sister advertising agency. They recently started VCCP Content, an incredibly successful brand-funded agency. We're working really closely with them to help improve our video production capabilities on behalf of our sporting clients. So we're bringing the expertise from the advertising world and their ability to create really compelling, strong, rich, creative content, and we're bringing that to our clients and our ability to be able to make really exciting stories on behalf of our brands and be able to bring sponsorship to life with fans and with followers and supporters. If we bring those together, that's a really exciting opportunity, and that's what we're doing right now, and that's what I think the rest of the industry will probably see happening as well. It's about partnerships, it's about working closer together, it's about recognising where their skill sets are, and it's about improving our offering as a Marcoms division overall. That's an interesting question. I don't think we can say in our industry that anything will replace another discipline. I think always they need to work very closely together. I don't think SEO suddenly has become completely redundant. I think what we've seen is the third-party media owners in digital are changing the way that they produce and serve content to consumers. Basically, they're changing their algorithms and the way that we find and come across videos naturally or through search. And I think that means that other tactics, other routes are becoming more prominent. One isn't replacing the other. We need to be skilled in every way of helping our consumers find and engage better with the rich content that they want, that they need. Top tips for any PR wanting to get into the content game is to be a consumer yourself. Think about how you engage with your brands on a daily basis. Think about how you like to hear from them. Think about how and where you receive your content. You watch that video, you receive that tweet, you click through, you read news about them. You've got to recognise the richness and the complexity of media, and you've got to be able to understand how you can advise your client to bring your brand to life, to bring their brand to life, and how you can engage your consumers. So first of all, you've got to be a consumer to be able to work effectively in that space. And I think we quite often forget that we are consumers ourselves, but it's a really important discipline to have and to retain. I think the point about being distracted by channels, it does happen and has happened. I think there are plenty of examples that many people could think of where a new channel or a new tactic, particularly in the digital space, has emerged and suddenly it's become the fashion or the fad to dive into it. You could pick countless examples. Second Life, for example. If you think of how many brands dived into that very, very quickly, invested heavily in that space, it is content. Bringing your brand to life in that environment is content generation, is content origination. And actually the cycle of novelty moved very, very quickly for Second Life, and we moved on quite sharply. But we found a lot of brands that invested a lot of time and resource in that space. I think nowadays we need to make sure we don't become suddenly attracted by a channel so much that we make that same mistake, that we ensure that we recognise how consumers are working, what's working for them, and how we can most effectively reach them, but not be too distracted by anything new.